Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Here we go. Wholesale Hotline number 126. Guys, do you realize it has been 3 weeks since all of us have been on the show?
Yeah, I do.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This is absolutely exciting. I am happy to be on here. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, with the number one, I don't care what anybody says, the number one undisputed pound for pound wholesaler of all time, Jamil DMG, and the number one pound for pound creative finance / wholesale / flipping / contracting / business owning mofo, Pace Morby in the house. I've got a lot of energy today. I am telling you, I've got a lot of energy today. We've got an incredible audience already starting to pile in here. So it is exciting. It is exciting times. I know last week was a little bit goofy with the audio, so we're going to really dive deep into what's going on economically. A lot of things changed, right? You know, they said that they were going to do it. They said that they were going to drop the interest rates a little bit. They were going to drop gas prices a little bit, get people feeling good. This always happens with midterm elections coming up. They need to kind of soften the blow a little bit here. And it's been really interesting. And I wanted to point out, and I have it here on my screen here, and I don't know if we can share this, Matt, but you can see active listings right now in the United States are 619,305. That's up 19% year over year.
Yep.
Okay,
Damn.
Now let's look at this. What is this? Wait a second. Days on market is down? Days on market are down 11% from last year. That's strange. That's not what we're seeing in real life, but that's at least what they're reporting. And then we're up 17%. Guys, this is Realtor.com, right? This is Realtor.com in their research section. Check that out. But I think that that's really, really, really interesting. We're going to see a lot more homes on the market.
Yes.
We're going to see a lot more trash on the market.
Yes.
Because people are going to unload as much as they can right now. All of those sellers that have been waiting for the peak of the market, it is here, and they might have missed it.
Yeah, they might have missed it. But I want to be very clear, right? Because I know we've all got somewhat of a different opinion on where we're headed and where we're going, and I love that. I love the fact that Pace and I don't share an exact viewpoint on how things are going to go. I love that, you've got some opinions that could be contrary to some of the things that I might say or Pace might say. I think it's important for us to discuss all the sides to get a really good understanding so that you guys, the investors, the people that are out there doing the thing, so that you guys can get out and actually make informed decisions. So I want to just quickly circle back to a conversation I had with the Executive Vice President of Adam Data.
Love it.
Okay, one of the biggest data companies.
Yeah, explain who
They're
they
one
are.
of the biggest data companies in real estate, guys. These guys track everything. Everything from the number of days on market to the number of listings in the United States to how fast people are going under contract to how many home searches. I mean, these guys are diving in to the data pool in ways that we wouldn't even imagine. And he came up with some interesting conclusions.
Let's go.
Okay. What we're seeing in the headlines right now is that, yes, price decreases are up 132%. But Pace and I had a conversation earlier, and we both came to the agreement that people were aggressively overpricing their properties coming into the last 60 days of the market.
That's right.
And so, of course, we're going to have significant amounts of price reductions because people were nutty. They weren't. There was no rhyme or reason to where they were pricing their properties. So now we're getting back to the fundamentals. You're actually going to have a justification for where your list price is and why.
Yep.
Right? Which is fundamentals. This is strong.
You want to hear another stat?
Yes.
In Phoenix, Open Door has 1,489 active listings. Only 140 pending.
You're joking me.
90% of their inventory is active, rotting on the market. What does that tell you?
I mean, bro, that's
what does it tell you?
That there is a bit of a dangerous stat.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dangerous stat because what does that tell me? That tells me that there is obviously a decrease in activity in the price point that Open Door likes to typically invest in, which is starter homes.
What it tells me is they didn't get creative with their design. They cookie-cuttered this thing up.
They
pushed it for 10% over market value to see where the top of the market was, and they're going to have a lot of price reductions, and they basically go in and put lipstick on a paint for a lot of it. I mean, Pace, talk to us. You did a lot of these when they first came out. I believe that the first conversation I had with you, Pace, was I was a real estate agent. You were a contractor. I was representing some friends of my wife, and they bought an open home, and it was like the first 3, 4, 5 months that Open Door was out. So I don't know if it was you, Pace, but I remember somebody always answered the phone. They were always on top of things. So I'm going to assume in my mind that it was you. Open Door, when you were working with them, doing the contracting, were they really pushing for design? Were they really pushing to get things done at the highest level?
Everything with Open Door was based on data. Everything.
Yep.
So what they did is they did split testing. So they said, all right, we're going to spend an average of $50,000 per house for 6 months. And we're going to see if that makes us more than if we spend an average of $5,000 per house. And so I did all the projects that were $50,000 plus, right? So I was the contractor who was doing probably 90% of the work. And what they found, this is back in 2016, 17, maybe 2016, so 6 years ago, they come to me, Megan, my boss, who's at Open Door. She's now very, very high level.
Yep.
She comes to me. She goes, "Hey, good news. You're not going to have to do as much work anymore." I go, "What do you mean? I have 180 employees that work for you. What are you talking about?" She says, "We found that we don't net any more money than if we spend 2% of the purchase price back into the property." So I go, "What do you mean by that?" And she says, "Well, if we buy a house for $300,000, the maximum amount of money that we will allocate to it is $6,000. And they found that out back in 2016. So their product has never been a great product.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's sitting there. And I think that's for anybody here that is selling to. The reason I bring that up is the properties that I see that Luke Rothfull is selling, that some of the Templeton Walkers are selling, these really good
nice
products are selling, that you guys are selling, are really, really well done. They're really well designed, and they're selling fast. But the just getting by on just getting basic flooring, basic paints, basic whatever, and just leaving it empty, those days are over.
Yes.
I'm telling you, those days are over. So from the audience perspective, why does this mean anything to you guys? Is go find the people that really are putting in the quality projects. They're still buying.
Right.
They're still buying. Why? Because they're still selling their deals. The other thing that I thought was very interesting at your meetup, talking to Capital Fund One, he said a lot of the hard money lenders are pausing because they can't sell the notes that they have on their books right now.
Which makes them out of money.
Because the note buyers are waiting for hard money interest rates to jack way back up to 18%, which we were used to. Yep. I mean, that was the world that we lived in, was 18% interest rate on hard money loans was pretty normal. It's been at 8 to 12 for a long time. It's been great, but it's going back up.
Well, funny enough, not just to plug Cap Fund because I love Noah.
Yeah.
He's a great friend of mine, but they have kept their rates relatively low considering.
They just raised another 30 million.
They did raise another 30 million, yeah. So there's still some guys out there that are liquid, some people that are out there that understand the market is emotional. And right now we are in an extremely interesting part of it because, look, let's talk about the run-up, right? We had emotions having people offer 100, 200,000 over list price. That's not true equity. That's emotional equity. That doesn't exist. When you're waiving appraisal contingencies and the lender isn't backing the supporting your buy price, that isn't real.
Right.
That's emotional equity. So,
100%.
but is that real equity now? Has it been realized because it traded at that price or not? And that's, Pace, what are your thoughts about that? How do you reconcile the emotions that led us up to this point and the emotions that might take us down the other side of the mountain?
It's interesting because the economy consists of a couple of things. One of the biggest things that the economy consists of that people don't talk about is consumer confidence.
Yep.
And what happens is not that there's less money. What I'm fearful is now the human beings that make up the economy, right? Sellers, buyers, vacationers, everybody, employers, their confidence is dropping. And so what you're seeing now is if you guys Google right now, you start looking at massive layoffs, look at Loan Depot, look at all these big lenders that are actively laying people off right now. Those things scare the market. And what ends up happening is that the interest rates, this is where I'm fearful, the interest rates are not out of control. They're somewhat normal, right? But when you start doing massive layoffs, compounding with interest rate hikes, and now the Fed says that they're going to raise the interest rates a full % in the next 3 to 4 weeks, consumer confidence goes down, everything changes. People stop spending money on Airbnbs. Maybe they still vacation, but instead of going to $300 a night one, they're going to go to the $80 a night one because now they're saying, oh man, I got to hold on to my money a little bit more right now. I think the emotions are going to start amplifying, and you guys are going to start seeing sellers, which we are seeing right now, throwing their houses at you that are in distress, especially in the foreclosure market. It also, the other thing that Jamil and I were talking about today is that the reality of a high interest rate makes it so sellers who might want to sell right now are going to say, what the hell am I going to trade this for?
That's right.
I got a
Property lock.
Right. And now what does that then do? This is unprecedented. Like all the data that we have, it basically is a moot point because look back at COVID. All the data says we were going to have a crash because all these companies were shutting down. Nobody was working. And the freaking real estate market lit up like a freaking pack of tinder. Right?
Yep.
So now I think that I personally think that you're going to have a lot of confusion in the market. I don't know what's going to happen because interest rates go up. Sellers are going to say, well, what am I going to go buy with this? Let's say I get my equity. I got to go buy something where my affordability is half. I'm staying. So what does that then do is it results in a lack of inventory.
Which decreases the supply.
Which decreases the supply, which
I mean,
then
the
makes
demand's
it
always going to be there. I mean, let's be honest. People are always going to still want to realize.
Bro, in 10 years, this is the data that's very interesting. In 10 years, the population of the United States will go up over 10%. That's 30 million people.
Yep.
Where are those people going to live?
Yeah.
The demand's not going away.
I'm telling you. I mean, that's why they're building apartments like crazy.
The key question here, though, Pace, is does demand stay without affordability?
Well, and that's what I wanted to talk about is.
And I think that right there is
home affordability.
Is the neon sign, right? Does it exist? Does demand exist without affordability? I think that what you're going to find is like the same thing that you see in Europe. You know how people live in Europe? They stack people in multiple families in single residences.
Either companies or the government owns those buildings.
100%.
Right. Yep.
We're heading down the same path.
It's interesting, especially with, the hedge funds buying up as much as they have. I mean, in, 20, 30% of the inventory. Then they pause and then everybody freaks out and then, whatever. But there's still great deals. We're
still great
selling
deals. We're selling deals hand over fist. In fact, our buyers are just buying a little deeper right now, but they believe in the fundamentals of the market. They believe in the lending practices that have led us up to this point. They've also noted that there's barely anybody underwater out there. How can you have a housing crisis? How will you have a crash when no one is underwater?
11 trillion in tappable equity, the most ever. Ever. Yep. Telling you. It's interesting. It's interesting times. But, I mean, good market, bad market, whatever. We still have to go out and we still have to serve the community.
Absolutely.
We still have to go out and find people that are in some sort of distress. We have to go out and find people that have these ugly properties and want to get rid of them. And if they actually want to get the most out of them, they've missed it. They already missed it. But if they want to get the second most out of it, they better do it now because it's going to be tighter. What Jeremy, my disposition manager, was saying is he's reduced it 8% of the ARV for where we want to be selling our properties to our cash buyers.
Yeah.
And that's from talking to all of them. Yeah. We were at 10%, you know what I'm saying, that they wanted to make on these deals. Now we're at 18.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're still using you're using the high comp still to get your ARV, right?
Yeah.
Are you eliminating the houses that were sold over list price? Are you removing those from your comps?
We always look at pendings. Yep. So we look at what the pending price was because if it gets bid up to, who knows?
Yeah.
Right. So what was it listed at? That's the number one thing that we look at is the pendings right now in this market because solds tell us what they were. Pendings are like what's happening right now.
Yep.
Right. I'm not looking at the actives. I'll tell you that.
No, they don't make any sense.
No.
Well, here's an interesting data point as well that you can't get your finger on any website is what are sellers currently thinking and what is going on in sellers' minds. And so let me tell you, we do, I kind of run a 50-50 model. So 50% of the deals that we touch, we flip, okay? Either fix and flip or flip the contract, right? Wholesale. 50% of the deals they come into our pipeline, we add value to them, we flip them. Could be wholesale or fix and flip. The other 50%, I'm holding. I'm in a phase in my business where I want to hold a lot of stuff. And I can tell you we have homeowners that 6 months ago would not negotiate with us are now throwing houses at us.
Yep.
Okay, on both creative finance and on cash deals. People are afraid of what's going on. I also had one of the greatest Zooms ever the other day. I had a seller goes on YouTube to find out how to sell their property with creative finance because they're like, the house was listed at 650, goes to 625, goes to 615, now 580. He's like, how do I sell my house? Blah, 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 blah. There was a blog that talked about sell your house on creative finance. So he goes to my YouTube, DMs me. I bring him into my Zoom with my students for an hour and 15 minutes and explain to him how to sell his property on creative finance. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is my only possible route. This is a brand new house, 2019, right? Gorgeous house down in Tucson, new build up on the mountain, price point's 550, 600, right in that price range. So not out of this world, millions of dollars type of thing. And he's just like, I can't sell it on the market. I'm throwing it at you. So a couple of things I'm noticing is the desperation of sellers is coming from not so much the market crashing. It's that the aggressiveness, you guys asked this question earlier, the aggressiveness of the lead up of this over the last 2 years and the sellers have been in such a strong damn position the last 2 years that the second they lose that control, it's now unsettling. And you're starting to see sellers way more willing to negotiate. Are you seeing the same thing, Brent?
100%. Yep. It's been crazy. I mean, it's, we do a really good job of planting seeds. We do a really good job of calling, voicemail, text message, everybody that's in our database, doing our follow-up. And you got to catch them live most of the time. Let's be honest. You got to catch them live and hope that, you can have a good conversation with them. But 80% of follow-up has been like leaving voicemails and texting, and now they're starting to call. Yeah. They're starting to text. Yeah. They're starting to reach back out, and it feels very good.
Empowering.
It's very interesting.
Well, I want to share with you guys that we closed a $38,000 deal today two first-time Astro flipping students, Fabian and Albero. They made half of it. The other half of it came to Keegley.
Yep.
Again, this just came from a desperate seller. On market, agent deal, on market. Been sitting on the market for over 30 days. We negotiated the bejesus out of this thing. We were able to sell it the first day we blasted it out, and near $40,000 in fees. Guys, people...
Give me a little bit. So what was it listed at? What'd you guys get it at?
So it was listed at $290.
Yep.
We contracted it at $220.
Okay.
$70,000 under list price, 32 days on market.
Clean?
I mean, needs a remodel. It's,
it does.
it's dated. Yeah. But the ARV on that sucker is $400, maybe $430.
Love it. Yep.
Ring it. Boom! That's for you, Borrow and Fab. Nice job.
What is better, pace, Burr or sub 2?
Here's my honest answer. Depends on who you are and what you're working on. If you're brand new, Burr is really challenging because it requires you to get 3 loans. Okay. Loan number 1, hard money loan when you buy the property. Loan number 2, the construction loan to do the renovation. And then loan number 3 is when you finish with that, you have to refinance and get that money back, right? Hopefully. Owning a title company, I can tell you that more than 90% of the Burr deals that we handle on a monthly basis do not get their money back. In fact, they have a lot of money sunk into these deals long term. So when you're a brand new investor, getting 3 loans, managing all the paperwork and the payments and all that kind of stuff on that is really challenging. However, what the Burr strategy does give you is it gives you the ability to go on the MLS and go, I want that property. I want to that property that's available. I want to buy that. And the seller is only willing to take cash. So there's an advantage there for the Burr. With creative finance and subject to, guess what? Our average interest rate is around 3% between subject to and seller finance. 3%, no matter what the market is doing. So I love right now that the Burr strategy has actually become obsolete, because what you have is you have houses that are priced incredibly high. And now when you have 3% interest rates or 4% interest rates on your Burr loans, those deals still made sense. But now your interest rates are as high as your purchase price. The majority of people's Burr deals are dead unless you can buy those deals at 40 cents on the dollar. How many deals are people buying at 40 cents on the dollar? It's not very common.
Nope.
So the Burr strategy is intense. It requires a lot of cash, requires a lot of times a W-2 with long job history. It requires credentials, meaning liquidity, good credit, etc. Creative finance does not, but there is a disadvantage to creative finance. The disadvantage to creative finance is that I can't just go on the MLS and go, I want that house. I have to go and find those types of deals.
Actually, Dan Quijano proved that to be incorrect, Pace, because he can go onto the MLS and say, I want that house and turn it into terms.
Who do you think Dan Quijano learned this from? If you go
from
on
that guy right there.
If you go on the MLS right now, in fact, you guys want to see a dope one I'm looking at? Jamil, you might want to look at this one.
We want to see it, but first, Pace, that was the nicest that you've ever talked about Burr, ever. That was really nice.
Well, because we do the Burr strategy.
Is there any point in spitting on them?
It's just when they're down, they're down. Yeah.
we do the Burr strategy and we love it. But right now, all of our Burr deals are dead. Like even the ones that I'm in the middle of right now, I'm like, great. What I'm doing right now, instead of getting 30-year fixed mortgages on my Burrs that we had in process, we're getting 5-year adjustable rate mortgages. Otherwise, they don't financially pencil.
Yep.
We had to go and get different types of loans on these things to make it make sense. And so that's the thing I'd be deathly afraid of if I'm a brand new person investing in the Burr strategy. Check out this tasty boy right here. You guys want to see this tasty boy?
Is Cody the tasty boy? Oh, no, the house.
Look at this. What do you guys think about this house?
That's great, though.
Seller finance right here. On the MLS, seller finance deal. This is 2 streets away from me. Gorgeous, gorgeous house. And so, guys, there are creative finance deals on the MLS. They're just not, if you have 10,000 properties on the MLS, you're going to have about 200, 300 seller finance, creative finance deals on the MLS. They do exist. But typically they're, less than 1% of the deals on the MLS.
That looked like a brand new house.
Yeah, it's a brand. Well, guess who built it? Jerry freaking Norton.
Jerry built it?
Jerry and his brother built that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And they're going to sell it on terms?
Yeah, they say seller finance. If you go to MLS and you type in seller carryback or seller will carry, there's a button to click on the MLS.
Explain that people could do that. I don't think a lot of people know that, Pace.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even real estate agents don't know that. Real estate agents that are listing properties on the MLS don't know that there's probably 200 or 300 opportunities on the MLS right now.
There's Jerry.
Okay. Is Jerry in here?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. He says, I know that property. There he is. There's Jerry. Jerry and I were talking about this. I was trying to get Cody Barton, my partner, to buy it. And I'm like, I text Jerry. I go, hey, this is you and your brother's house. Like, what would you guys take? And he texts me the terms. It's like, it's that easy. Obviously, Jerry he's a flipping genius.
Yep.
Let's be honest, right? We should have Jerry on the show right now.
Let's get him back, man. Let's get Iguana Diablo back on the show.
Is he in the continental U.S. right now?
He's in Puerto Rico.
I think he's in San Diego. I saw him doing a kettle. You guys been seeing his kettlebell stuff lately?
Bro, I got exhausted watching him. He
did like 300 in like 30 minutes.
I think he lifted kettlebells for like 8 hours. Something crazy like that. He looked tired.
Bro, but he looks so. I saw an interview with him, like a side angle of him. I'm like, Jerry's never looked better in his life. He looks so dang good.
Oh yeah, he's crushing it. We love you too, Jerry.
Yeah, he's great. I just sent him the link. If he can come on here, we'd love to see you, Jerry, and see what your thoughts of the market is. Because, he's back in Montana. Here's the thing about Jerry, though. Okay, Jerry's doing a lot of luxury flips, and so that's a market I'm not in. That's not a market that you guys are not in either. I'd be super interested to hear what he has to say. Ooh, Jamil.
Yeah.
Hater says, I was on the Secret Agent Challenges. How can I get the agent's list?
So the way to get that, guys, is to go to the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0 Facebook group. Okay, there's a Facebook group, an accountability group. Emily's going to put the link in the chat right now. Join that group, and we will get you the list through that group.
Love that.
Yeah, I was looking on the MLS today, and it was like 1 in 3 listings that I was looking at in Central Phoenix were flippers trying to sell it as is on the market just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of it. And they marked it up like 100, 200K from what they bought.
They're
I mean,
still being crazy.
It's silly. I'm telling you guys, if you are unloading your properties, get it unloaded. Don't mess around. I am telling you. And fix it up and make it really nice. But if you have enough self-awareness to know that you don't have that design mind and you don't know how to really make a house really pop going into this market, then get rid of those properties and figure out a different strategy that you can use, or bring somebody on that can help you design and do really well with these flips, because it's going to be really important. I mean, how important is your sister in the
oh my
in the
God!
squad?
I mean, Pace and I have
Critical.
been touring all the properties that we still have on the market right now, and truly, I think in the class of each of those houses, ours is the nicest available.
Right.
The nicest available.
Yeah.
You need to decide,
here we. Oh my gosh, you won't even believe who we have. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Hey guys.
Captain Kettlebell.
Captain Kettlebell, bro. You got your kettlebells right now at the lake house?
I got some over here. Yeah, they're lying around all over the place.
Bro, what's the recent obsession? You've never looked better, stronger ever, dude. I'm telling you.
I've always been pretty good about working out, but I just was getting so dang bored of like the gym and bench, and so I just needed something different. So yeah, it's been great.
Look at the shoulder boulders on them.
We got you on here, Jerry. I want to ask you a question about.
There they are. His shoulders look like football helmets.
You look like Brent Daniels. Actually, you're getting closer to this guy's size.
Oh man, I got a ways to go for that.
Jerry, what are your thoughts on the luxury market in this upcoming economic situation? Are those buyers in your price points, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, are those buyers affected by interest rates like a buyer at $500,000 is?
Well, I mean, there's a certain point where luxury's financed. Like we have some doctor buyers, they'll put 20, 30% down, but a lot of our buyers are second home buyers, and they pay cash. Most of them pay cash. So it'll be interesting because parking your cash in real estate made sense. I don't know where they're going to be thinking right now. You know, I kind of feel like the way luxury is going to go is they're just going to want a better deal. So they're not okay paying retail or, you know, market value. They're going to want a little bit of a deal.
That's just it. Everybody's going to get a bit of a discount. And guys, remember, we're in the summer right now. Summer seasonally is always slower. So it's like a perfect storm. You've got less buying activity. You got people away on vacation. You've got higher interest rates. I mean, these things compound, and then you've got skittish sellers. That Pace very eloquently described the psychology of what's going on in the mind of a seller right now. You put all these things together, and you're going to have an opportunity for some tremendous buying opportunities, whether it be on the retail market or on the wholesale market. So now is the time, guys, to learn your fundamentals and go get the deals.
Yeah, you got to build the skills. No longer.
Jerry,
can
what
we just
do you
lock
have?
up
We got
anything and
Jerry.
sell
We
them.
have 700 people that are looking at a flipping genius on the screen right now. What are the things on your mind regarding this upcoming market shift or the market shift that's currently happening? Is there anything on the top of your mind? Things you're worried about? Things you're excited about? What do you got?
I mean, definitely feel like creative finance is the hottest thing right now because, you know, rates are going to be high. So everyone's going to be thinking more creatively. As far as flipping, what I'm doing with flipping is I want to keep flipping. In fact, I want to flip more, but I am going to be adjusting my ARVs and I'm going to be doing bigger rehabs. I don't think we're going to get away with lipstick on a pig like we've been doing.
Yep.
So we're budgeting to do the full rehab. We're not going to leave those old cabinets. We're not going to leave that old roof, because my take is if we're going to start to see some inventory, you got to win over the buyers now. It's not just whatever's available they'll buy. Now they're going to be a little more choosy. Your rehab better look top notch. So that's all. I'm just gonna I'm gonna adjust down my ARVs.
How much are you baking in? How much are you adjusting down in your ARV in the luxury space, Jerry, so that we can understand from a man who's on the field, guys. This isn't somebody who's spectating. This is a guy who's a gladiator in the arena. Where are you going?
Well, so I think the way you got to look at it is every market's going to be a little bit different. I think some markets are going to get hit a lot harder than others. So like, for example, in Phoenix, I think Phoenix is going to weather it pretty well just because it's a melting pot. Like a lot of people come to Phoenix and there's low inventory. So that market I don't see as being hit too bad. But there's other markets where I looked at a deal. Oh, where was this deal at? New Orleans. So I looked at it. I've done some flips in New Orleans. And my 6-month historical data for comps was awesome. And it was coming in at about 350. Tons of flips, tons of data, easy to comp. But I took a look at actives, and there were 5 flips in the same neighborhood on market that were already about 20% below. You know, they were in the low threes. Same houses that sold 6 months ago for 350 are now sitting at 315, 320. So I'm looking at that going, if I were to come on market with my flip and they're sitting at 315, 320, 325, there's no way I'm getting 350 from the historical data. So I need to be more like around 300, maybe even if it dips some more, I need to be 275, 280 so that I can sell my house. So that's now my ARV. So I'm really looking at actives, what's sitting, what stays on market, what kind of price drops are they doing? And then I'm trying to base my decisions on what's happening right now, less so than what happened 6 months ago.
So about 20%, Jerry?
I'm seeing 20% is kind of a good standard.
In secondary markets, 20%. And guys, what's a secondary market? My opinion, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, but when I was talking to the vice president of analytics at Redfin, this is what he said. The 3 things that caused the spike in appreciation was money, cheap money, millennials, and migration. The 3 M's, okay? So wherever you saw that activity going is going to have a level of insulation. Wherever that activity didn't go is going to be subject to small corrections.
Yeah.
Well, and then housing affordability.
That's it.
You need to have jobs. You need to have income to be able to afford it. And if you look at it, I mean, I don't know how much housing affordability. I'm just looking into it. I haven't done, really deep dived it. And maybe you guys have a better, knowledge base on it. But it's like the lowest it's been, or the highest it's been. Affordability, lowest it's been in a long time. And it's the fastest it's gone because you've got inflation, you got interest rates, you've got lack of inventory. And it's kind of wild. I mean, it's interesting that it was 2 years after COVID hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always thought that it was going to hit us really hard in 2020, 21, but everybody was at home. And
Right.
everybody's like, I like working from home. And now it's coming back. So it's really interesting to watch.
The thing that I think is worrisome, where we need to be really paying attention to it, we could see interest rates go to 8 to 10%. I mean, they could hike them up that high, and to try to curb this inflation. So that's not an unrealistic thing that might happen. So what would that do to the market? But I do feel like I don't think the Feds are gonna hike it so much so that come here, baby. I don't think they're gonna hike it so much so that they crash the market. I don't see them doing that. They're gonna be watching it closely, and they're gonna keep adjusting it up. And we still have an inventory problem no matter what happens. We have an inventory problem regardless of interest rates. So I think we're going to be looking more like a correction than a crash. I know Pace is doing a poll. I just started a poll on that too to get perception and like what everyone's thinking. But that's my honest take, is we're going to see a correction more so than a crash.
So, Jerry, how are you going to keep finding deals?
Well, I mean, this is when you double down, guys. I mean, Jamil said it. This isn't when you sit the sidelines right now. You double down.
That's right.
And I think some of the best deals that we've seen in a long time are coming. Right? We're going to see some phenomenal deals. So don't sit the sidelines. Just buy deeper.
Yep. Love it.
Gary,
Totally agree.
what child is that?
It's number 10. Number 10 and number 9 for the 2.
This is 10.
That's 9.
What are you doing to the back of the house there?
Oh, you should see what we're doing. Check out this header that's going in, if you guys want to see.
Jerry, is this house number 1 or house number 2 on the lake?
This is the second one. Look at this header.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's what is it?
Did you add that square footage, Jerry?
Yeah, so see right here, I don't know if I can show you this, but there's the wall. Here's the wall right here. So I want to get rid of this beam. That beam's going to go, and I'm going to push this room all the way to here. So I got to put that header in right there.
Oh, yeah.
I had to crane this thing down here with a crane.
Is this
That
the
way-
house with the boathouse or not the boathouse?
The second one, no, this one doesn't have the boathouse. But then
Are you guys aware that Jerry owns 2 houses on a lake next to each other?
these are the
Yep.
sliders going in.
My gosh, this guy's a flipping genius.
Pace, I was going to text you. Got some dates for you, baby. Come on.
We're coming up. 100% we're coming up. When are you guys going? When are you guys gonna be?
End of July, 1st of August.
That's when you're going home?
No. That's when you can come stay in the other house.
Oh, bro, please. I will bring the kids. We'll hang out. We'd love to be there. I've been looking at property in Kalispell. We'd love to be your neighbor too.
Oh yeah, this is like God's country here. I can't even tell. I don't know. You can't see it really. Maybe you
Beautiful. Oh, we see it.
Oh, we see it.
Yeah.
Are you going to
Very
put a
nice.
secret tunnel between house 1 and house 2?
can. I want to buy the one in between. So I keep telling the neighbor, "Hey, sell me your house." Then I'd have
Wow,
3 in a
dude.
row.
Wow. Unbelievable. We will be there. Maybe I can even convince Jamil to come up there and hang out. Jamil,
Come
you
on,
going to have
let's
charisma
go.
still?
Charisma leaves in the middle of August.
Oh, then perfect. Let's go up to Kalispell for 2 days, 3 days.
I'm in. You don't got to twist my arm to get into that view.
How do
It's
you
a
feel
cool-
about
cool
bears,
town.
Jamil?
How do I feel about bears?
Yeah.
I stay away.
Okay, I'll have some bear spray for you. We have the best garbage in all of Montana, so the bears come to our house.
Okay. Well, it's because you got 10 kids, Jerry.
Yeah.
I know we got hot dogs, chicken nuggets, poopy diapers.
All of it. Oh, yeah.
Jerry, are you
love it.
legitimately done having children? That everybody wants to know.
So I had a vasectomy and then we got pregnant with her literally like a week later.
Yeah, I feel like the kettlebell swings are going to get you guys pregnant again. I feel like it's bringing all this testosterone.
Yeah.
It's going to grow everything back.
What do you guys say we answer some questions? Jerry, you want to hang out? Or you going to get out of here?
Sure. I'm just, if you guys don't mind, I'm chilling with the numbers 9 and 10. But
We'd love to. Let's answer some questions. I think a lot of people are going to have questions for Jerry. Specifically, some people said that this is the dream team wholesale hotline tonight. We got 750 people watching Jerry Norton.
I love your show. You guys rock it.
Bro, we love you. We always talk about you. You're one of our favorite people. And by the way, we love it when you get on stage, dude. I know you don't travel a lot. I know you don't go to speaking engagements a lot. You turn a lot of them down. But just seeing you speak on stages recently has been like absolutely so fun. So thank you for doing that.
I'm going to Traffic and Conversion.
Oh, I know. I saw you, and I'm talking to Roland Frazier and Steve Harwood behind the scenes, and they told me that you're the #1 requested guest, even above Kim Kardashian, who will be speaking at that.
Wow.
Yeah, right, Pace.
She legitimately is speaking at Traffic and Conversions. Isn't that kind of a weird thing that Flipping Genius is going to be on the same stage as Kim Kardashian?
You know who I'm excited to maybe meet is Jocko Willick.
Oh yeah, Jocko's cool.
He's great. I love that guy.
That's going to be an amazing event. Are you going to be bringing the family or just you?
I'll bring the wife, and she seems to come wherever we go.
I love it. Well, we'll be there with the kids and stuff too. Jamil and I are actually going to be speaking at Traffic and Conversions and then Bigger Pockets the following week. I wonder if Jamil could get you on a panel at Bigger Pockets and you could just hang out for the week in San Diego with us.
Done.
Love it.
You want to do that?
In fact, Pace, you and I are doing a wholesaling creative finance breakout session for 3 hours. If you guys want to learn wholesale creative finance from Pace, myself, and that guy, maybe even that guy.
When?
October.
October.
It's the first. It's the October.
Can you imagine?
1st and 2nd,
Could you imagine the 4 of us in a room?
That'd be a good time.
Pockets?
Yeah, boy.
Bro, and we bring the wives and the kids and hang out in San Diego for a couple of
Hell
days.
no,
Come
I'm
on.
leaving mine at home. I'm kidding.
Bro.
That'll be great.
3 hours isn't enough time.
No.
And that's how I feel. It's
I'll
exactly.
go
I'm
if you
doing.
do, Jerry.
Let's make it happen, guys. Let's put it together. That would be fantastic.
Gary, would you be in?
Fantastic.
Could you get your wife to come out for a week to San Diego with you?
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
so. I mean, we're there end of September, so yeah, give me dates and stuff.
Yeah, so it's the Traffic and Conversions in San Diego, and then the very next weekend is Bigger Pockets Con. So you'd be there just 1 week.
Okay. Are you just going in and out for Traffic and Conversion, or are you staying during?
No, we're staying the whole time. We're going to be in
Staying the whole
Traffic and
week.
Conversions and stay the whole week.
You know, you guys are going to sit down and do videos with me again.
Duh.
Yeah.
Why do you think we're inviting you, bro?
Maybe try to get out there the whole week if you could.
Pace,
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about how to build
need
a
to know when I'm not
1.2 million
All right.
email list.
Before we leave tonight.
I need that.
I think we're gonna make this happen. I believe I just got a commitment from Brent,
Done.
and I believe we just got a commitment from Jerry.
Let's go.
Let's make it happen, guys. This is incredible. Bigger Pockets 2022 is going to smash.
Be bananas.
If you haven't got your ticket yet, guys, they're selling out. They'll sell out by the end of Wholesale Hotline.
I was born in San Diego.
Hey, Jerry, if you come to Bigger Pockets, I'm speaking twice. I'm going to speak with Jamil in a panel.
Okay.
And then I've got about an hour where I'm going to be talking about the legalities of creative finance. And I actually have my attorney coming with me on stage.
Oh, great.
And it would be fun to have you on there. I know you do a lot of creative finance. You and I, in fact, my favorite videos I've made on YouTube are with you about creative finance. So,
Yeah, we have some good ones.
Aaron Leitz, by the way, you're his favorite guest. He tells me this all the time. Every time I see him at a meetup, he's paid $70 in
I
YouTube
know.
money today
Incredible.
just to say thanks to Jerry.
Wow.
Okay, great one. This is great. Aaron Leitz is asking a question. Jerry, what are the major points of advice for beginner flippers starting right now? Give us 3 top tips.
Okay, first of all, don't use your own money. You can get 100% funding. Even if you got to use 80% hard money, you can raise the other 20% from private money. Everybody thinks that the money's the hardest part. It's not. Get a good deal and the money always comes. I've never not gotten money if I've got a good deal. And I really feel like if you're a beginner, you should not be, even if you're experienced in advance. I still rarely put my own money into my deals. So I think that's key. You got to learn how to raise capital. And I guess I'm talking, when they say flipping, I'm assuming fix and flip. But learn how to raise money. In fact, you cannot grow into the flipping business, I feel like, unless you become really proficient at raising capital.
I tell people this all the time, Jerry. I say, if I could go back and learn one skill faster, it would be raising capital.
You have to really embrace that mindset, and it's a never-ending pursuit, because even when you get money, then you want cheaper money. So you're always raising money. It's just a never-ending thing. It's one of those high-level activities. I outsource a lot of my business, but the money-raising side is such an important part that I'm constantly working on that one. So that's
here's something cool on that before you move on to number 2 and number 3. Today, I had a Zoom with a securities attorney to talk about Regulation A capital raising, which means I can go out and raise up to $75 million from non-accredited investors to go out and build apartment complexes, mobile home parks, etc. And somebody saw it on my calendar today. They go, what are you talking to an attorney about? Why are you getting educated on raising capital? And I said, because the pursuit of raising capital is never over. And I wish I learned it 10 years faster. I'm still learning it. Still, it's crazy how important that skill is. I love that that's your number 1 skill tip. What's number 2 and 3?
Number 2 is, I would say, be very picky about which fix and flip deals you take on. They have to be home run deals. Everybody's definition of a home run might be slightly different, but you tie up bandwidth when you do a fix and flip. It's time, it's energy, it's capital, it's resources. You got to manage your rehab. Even with a good team, it takes some of your bandwidth. So I'm against these very low margin deals. I'm against a volume type fix and flip business. I say you get really choosy. I think to start out, if you're new, it needs to be minimum 50,000, 60,000 profit on that deal for you to even consider doing a fix and flip. If it's less than that, wholesale it for 10, 15, 20,000. There's always a flipper happy to make 20 grand on a fix and flip. Wholesale that baby. You wait until you get that really good deal. I'd rather you do 5 really good deals than 15 or 20 marginal deals. I think that's really important.
How important is it, Jerry, to hook in with somebody that understands values, or maybe a real estate agent that's going to represent you on this? You know what I mean? Like, when we get started in this business, the hardest part of it is this a deal or not a deal? And then the second hardest part is, how big of a deal is this, right? So that's why we have these shows, is so that people can squat up in the comments and really connect in the communities that they're working, but also find people that have that, that experience. I mean, you could just reach out to people in your marketplace at meetup groups, and just reaching out to them on realtor.com or whatever. How do you find the right agent or right person to work with that can help you really evaluate a deal to make sure that it is that $50,000 minimum deal, Well,
learning how to comp is such a valuable skill. I don't think anybody should shortcut that, meaning I would never rely on a third-party source to determine my ARV, which means that dictates my buy price, because you're putting a lot of your fate in somebody else, and that other person is not as vested in your own success as you are. So, it's good to get an agent's advice on what they think the resale value is. Talk to a lot of people, talk to Jamil. I put out a ton of videos on comping. I know you guys do too.
Yep.
It's worth the energy and the effort to really master that skill. I think you should not even consider fix and flip until you feel really comfortable understanding how to comp, understanding how to value a neighborhood. If it's a neighborhood that you don't know or a market you don't know, take the time to really learn that market, understand how features determine value. What's it going to do? What's a 3-bedroom versus a 4-bedroom going to do? What's a a pool versus no pool, AC, no AC, all those things. Understand how the feature, how the neighborhood, how the market, how it's going to affect value. You get that wrong and you buy wrong, then nothing's going to go right then. Your deal's not going to go well. It all starts with understanding value.
Should people start with wholesale, Jerry?
I mean, definitely. That's your lowest barrier to entry. Wholesale's a great place to start. My big thing, don't make wholesale the end all be all. Wholesale is just a gateway into all kinds of other strategies, right? So, and once you learn wholesaling and it becomes your backbone, you'll always be a wholesaler because you're always going to get marginal deals that don't fit your exit that you can off to somebody who it does fit their exit. I think every real estate investor should start with wholesaling, become proficient at it. I think every real estate investor should learn to source their own deals. When you know how to source your own deals, you get all the meat on the bone, not just some of the meat on the bone, right? So it's just a valuable skill that will serve you your entire real estate career, learning how to wholesale.
Before he goes on to tip number 3, guys, I put a link in the side chat. I did a 4-hour live a couple of months ago talking about how to raise private capital. Good. And I just broke down every type of lender you'll ever meet. And I actually named them after like a whale, a shark, a guppy, a dolphin. I literally gave them names and like little avatars, explained their personality types, where to find them, what to say to them, how to structure the money, how long they probably are willing to lend to you, what interest rates they're going to give you based on who they are and their personality type. It took me 4 hours to do it. That link is in the side chat. So Jerry, we've got raising private capital, number 1. Number 2, learning how to run comps and understanding your numbers.
Identify a home run deal. Yeah.
Identify home run deals. I could not agree with you more. I get people that come to me and they go, you get this all the time, Jerry, too, and Jamil and Brent. Hey, I found this deal on Zillow. What do you think about this deal? And I go, what tells you this is a deal? Have you talked to the seller? Well, no, I haven't talked to the seller. What would I do with the property? I don't know. It just is a really cool property. That doesn't mean we can make money on it. What are we doing here? So raising capital and understanding how to find home run deals through understanding numbers. What would be the third thing people need to add as a skill set in order to be successful in this business?
Well, I'm just a real big stickler on the formula. So I don't deviate from the 70% formula. And if you're unfamiliar with what that means, it means you're going to pull 30% off the top. That's going to cover your profit, your carrying cost for financing, and your closing fees, which is closing and commissions. And I see a lot of flippers, especially over the past couple of years, where they've been riding on appreciation. A lot of flippers should be out of business right now that the market is so forgiving that they're still here. Normally, you do a fix and flip out of formula 1 or 2 times, you get burnt and you're back to the job and you're out of the business. So we're going to see a lot of flippers get hurt really bad right now that are out of formula. I'm feeling pretty good about my deals on the table because I bought right, which means if you buy right and you screw up, then you make 25 instead of 50, you can live with that. But you go into a deal with super skinny margins and you're not staying in that strict formula and things don't go right, you go over budget a little bit, which is easy. It doesn't sell for as much as you thought. Now you lose 10 grand or whatever. You don't want to be in that position ever if you can help it. So I'm just a big believer in sticking to that formula. And that formula, again, I mentioned earlier, we're going to want to adjust our ARVs. When I started, the formula was 65% because I started when the market was declining. And I think we're going to see those days again. I think we might see the standard being 65% less repairs is your buy formula. So it's just really understanding those numbers and making sure that you're going into a deal that's going to be a winner. Even if you screw things up, you're still going to come out on top. That's how
okay. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Let's give that a little bit of breath. So let's say that the ARV on a property is $400,000. That means it's renovated, right? Mm-hmm. Or as is. What does ARV mean?
So ARV is after repair. So that's your renovated comps. That's your
okay. So we got to look at renovated comps, and we have to say, okay, this property is worth $400,000 in a renovated state.
Yes.
So I'm going to take 30% off of that.
Yep.
That's 120 grand. That means I got to buy that at 280. not
minus.
Less repairs.
not including the repairs. And so
Yes.
I'm looking at the comps and saying, well, now how do I value the construction cost? So I might have to buy a deal at 50 cents, 50 cents on the dollar compared to the ARV.
That's normal. Yeah, that's usually pretty normal.
Won't that get
Right.
adjusted when you're in the bottom and the top, Jerry? Like if you're at 100,000 or 80,000 ARV.
Great
You're gonna-
question. So
You know what
first
I'm
of
saying?
all, I don't touch flips under 100,000. There's just no money in it. It's just
There you
not
go,
worth
Jerry.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Even 200,000. Why? Don't do
Right.
it. Get into the 300 to 600 if you're new. You're going to have awesome margins. It's the same work to do a 400, 500,000 ARV as it is to do 100,000. In fact, it's easier because 100,000 is low income, which means you're going to have problems and it's going to be tough getting good contractors. It's just not worth it. And then the high end, I still stay at 70%, even though your percentage of margin goes way up. But like, if I'm going to do $1 million ARV deal, that baby better make some good money. Like I want that $150,000, $200,000 spread. Like, because it's more capital, it's a bigger rehab, it's a little bit higher risk, right? So I want to win big as I go up in price point.
Okay, so I see this common mistake all the time where people will send me a $400,000 house that for $300,000, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm selling this for $300,000," and I immediately go, "Not a deal,"
Not a deal.
and they're confused by that,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they think that I'm greedy. They think that I'm this, that, or the other. Jerry, why do we have to take 30% off the top of the ARV? What is that 30% consist? I know you touched on it, but can you break that down just a little bit more?
Yeah. So I break the 30% down into 3 different percentages. Closing costs, I factor 9%. 5 or 6 of that's commissions. So it gets chewed up right there. Because when you sell that thing, you're going to be paying commissions. You have fees when you buy it, fees when you sell it. You got prorated taxes. You're going to have, usually I like to add into that number a little bit of a punch list because my buyer's going to come back and ask for some things. So I factor 9% just in closing fees of ARV. That's 9% of ARV. 6% is carrying costs, so financing. And 6% of ARV, that's enough to fund it 100% using reasonable 12, 13% interest on a typical flip, 4 or 5, 6 months, right? And then 15% left is your profit. So that's where that 30% is taken from.
Love it. And I think a lot of people that are jumping into wholesale, when you talk about know the formula, understand the numbers, they don't even know that what their customer's doing with the product, right? They just are like, I'm going to wholesale a deal. I'm going to make an assignment fee. I really don't understand what's going on the back end. I would add as a 4th bonus tip is understand what your customer is doing in this business.
Yes.
Visit the property site after you wholesale the deal to them. Ask them, what are their renovations costs? Right? Bring them lunch to their cruise or whatever it may be and spend time getting to know what your buyer does for a living. You'll learn that your buyer who bought your wholesale contract on an assignment is the one that has to pay all the commissions, a lot of times the closing costs. The buyers ask for concessions all the time. And these are things you don't know. And when I break them down for newbies, they're like, oh my gosh, why are you paying all these things? This is crazy. I'm like, that's the standard in the industry.
Yeah. Those are normal costs. Yeah.
And then here's the other thing that's interesting is that wholesalers don't know that their buyers have a cost of acquisition. So for example, if you're not in Arizona, a lot of times hard money lenders are charging a couple of points plus hard money. So if I buy a property at $250, did I really buy it at $250? No, I paid closing costs at a title or an escrow office, right? Could be 2%. That could be $5,000 just to buy it. Then I pay my lender $5,000. Then I've got a monthly payment of $2,500 a month. I mean, just my cost to carry the deal could be $20,000 to $25,000, depending on the deal. And
yeah,
people,
you're so right, Pace. I mean, it's always about your buyer. That's why right now, like, if someone's watching this and they just wholesale, this is such a relevant conversation because if you wholesale to a flipper, you need to understand how they're looking at the market right now, how they're looking at deals, because you dictate your business on what your buyers are doing.
Yes.
So Is it a buy and hold buyer? Is it a hedge fund? Is it a fix and flipper? Who is your ideal buyer? What are they doing? What's their formula? Where are they buying? Less your wholesale fee is your business.
This is a great topic, because Isaiah Thompson asked the question, how are you calculating repairs in this market? Okay, a couple of years ago, Jamil and I took a trip to Atlanta. Great little story, 20 seconds. We have a competition. Me, contractor who's physically flipped 7,000 homes for other people. I know repair costs pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay. Jamil, who doesn't do any construction, just says, I'm going to do it based on a price per square foot. And at the end of it, let's compare what we come up with. I walk in, I spend 45 minutes measuring everything, taking photos, doing all this stuff, itemizing everything. And I come out, and Jamil and I both show each other's pieces of paper. Jamil didn't even have to walk in the house. And we were $100 or $200 off of our guess. It was like $35,000. Jamil was like $34,200 because he calculated it based on a price per square foot of a lipstick remodel. So Jamil and Jerry, are you guys following any sort of formula right now to come up with repair estimates in this current market? Maybe an equation that's really easy for people to understand.
I'll share mine, and Jerry, you share yours, and we can compare. So right now on cosmetic space, we're at $40 a square foot. On full gut, we're at $60 a square foot. On new construction, we're at $150 a square foot. On additions, we're at $80 a square foot. Where do you land on that, Jerry?
Yeah, so I think if I took my algorithm and did it backwards like that, I could come right up to the square footage. But what I do is I look at every remodel and I basically say it's going to fall into one of three buckets. Either light, which is just carpet and paint, average, which is carpet, paint, kitchen, bath, or heavy, which is your gut jobs, where in your roofs and windows and everything. And then what I do is I have a built-in formula where all you do is you put your square footage of your house in, pick your category, light, average, heavy, and then it takes that square foot number you just mentioned, and it basically says around here is where your rehab's going to come in at.
Do you have a back of the napkin or a quick number that you know off the top of your head right now that we could, for a cosmetic that you just completed, so we could test it? Because mine is inflation corrected. So we were at much different numbers 6 months ago.
Yeah. So I just did my updates on 2022 on our formula, because I have it on an automated calculator where you can manually adjust it, but you just plug in your numbers and it spits it out for you. But I want to say right now, on a typical house, like let's say under 1,500 square feet, we're coming in at about 20,000. So what would that be per foot on a carpet paint?
Carpet paint. Are you seeing carpet paint though? Do you even are those even real deals? Because everybody tells me carpet paint, and I say that doesn't exist, especially in today's market.
Well, those are going to get a little harder, but I mean, our wholesale deals were very basic punch list type carpet paint. So we've been getting away with that quite a bit.
Does wholesale survive in our market? That was a question in the chat too. I mean, I'd like to, but let's do that. Let's do that math for him first. So he said 20,000 at $1,500 a square foot at 1,500 square feet, right? So
other way.
Come on. What's that coming out at?
Jerry, while he's working that number, Jerry, the house you're walking through right now, is that house a light remodel or a heavy remodel you're walking through right now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think we'll be about 750,000 in on this thing when we're done.
Holy moly.
We've done quite a bit to it. Yeah.
So what's the number, Jamil?
That's about $13.50 a foot on light. For me still, I don't even think that I've not done a light. I haven't seen a light in a long time. I think if you're gonna remodel a house, you got to do it all, And
well,
if
going forward, I mean, we've been doing a lot of wholesale, really light, not much to it. Punch list, clean it out, carpet paint, put it back up on the market, sell it for way higher. But I think, going back to your question, that model I think is going to get a lot harder than it's been, because if there's inventory, if stuff's sitting, then you better be the nicest house on the market.
Yep.
Agreed. Now here's a great one right here. Thank you for that, Jamil and Jerry. I think that was really good. A lot of good comments in the side chat. Al Mantini says, Pace, a $400,000 house for $300,000 is 75% of its value.
Show them the math, Pace.
Yeah.
Show them the math.
Is that not a deal? So, Al, great question. Really appreciate that. That means that we got to deep dive on this just for a second. If you guys don't mind, let me pull up the whiteboard if you guys are okay with that. So whiteboard style, you guys can tell I've been talking about foreclosures a lot lately. If I have a $400,000 house, let's go through this. According to Jerry's math, that means I'm going to put this on the market, on the MLS through an agent. Jerry, do you ever sell any of your houses without agents?
No, every single time with an agent.
And people need to understand that there's actually not one agent. There's on 99% of transactions, there's two agents.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is the seller pays for both of those agents.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying 9%. I've learned, Jerry, on my closing costs, I've learned for our own deals that we always calculate about 9 to 10%. So you're right on my number. So what does that number mean for us, guys? That's $36,000 right out of the gate that's going to be taken off this when we sell the property. That doesn't go towards paying off our lenders. It doesn't go towards anything but just selling the property.
Yep.
Okay. The people that get paid with that $36,000 are number one, agent, number two, agent, and then I would say title and escrow people, the people that are in the title and escrow business, right? Now, what is the other, right? 21% of that deal is you've got 21% would be $81,000. Okay. So we'll take out another $81,000. This is when I buy the property, I'm going to go and obtain financing. I'm going to pay for closing costs when I buy the property. I'm going to have hard money payments. I'm going to have utilities. I'm going to have all sorts of things associated to this property that actually don't have anything to do with my renovation. Okay. Now, Jerry, what are you looking at on a deal like this in terms of profit? What are you shooting for? Because I'm always shooting for a minimum of net 10%.
Yeah. So I want to be 15% of 400.
Okay.
And 6% going to financing, or we call it carrying, but your cost of financing.
Okay, so you're 5%. So you're going to look at 20% of that's going to go to financing, hard money payments, when I buy the property type of thing. That means that I've got a profitability on this deal of roughly $50,000 that I want to bake in ahead of time.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so here we go. Right here, you've got $106,000 right out of the gate that have to be taken off before I even go and look at the renovation.
Which should be about 30% if you did that.
Yeah, it's about 30%. It's a little. Yeah. I did it a little bit wrong, but it's all good. It's about 30%.
Yep.
Okay, so now if I've got a $400,000 house, what do we think the average renovation is going to be on an ARV of $40,000 if it's a mid rehab?
50.
Yep.
Okay, so 50,000. And what does that mean, Jerry? That means we're going to do what? We're going to do cabinets and bathrooms?
Yeah, kitchen, bath, floors, paint. I would call that an average flip where you're going to do regular updates on everything. That's not, blowing out a wall. That's not redoing a new roof. I mean, you could have some of those things, but it's not a heavy gut where you're going down to the studs. It's just your typical update everything rehab.
Okay, so Jerry, what we've got here is we've got the cost to acquire the deal and financing costs, the cost to pay everybody else involved other than myself, and then also my profit margin of 15%. That's $114,000 off this property. Now I've got $50,000 I have to take out for renovation.
Yep.
I am maybe a little bit crazy, but I always put a buffer number in there of about 2%.
Good.
Okay. So about $8,000 to $10,000 of the, oh crap, this happened, or oh my gosh, we didn't sell it for what we thought. Which, have you ever had a property that doesn't have an oh crap situation, even if it was a couple $1,000?
Pace, I've been doing it 20 years. I think probably every single one of them goes over budget and doesn't sell for as much as I thought.
There you go. So what I always do is, let's just say we're going to put a 2% budget in there for the oh crap budget. Okay. So before a wholesaler gets paid, what should this fix and flipper buy this property from a wholesaler? Okay, let's do the math. $400,000.
Yep.
Let's take out our 114. Let's take out our $58,000. That means as a fix and flipper, I have to buy this property for $228,000 in order for me to hit my 15% of ARV goal in my profit.
Yep. I would not buy that deal if I could not get it for 228.
Which
I
means
would personally not flip that deal if I could not get it for 228.
okay, so now here's one of the greatest questions for wholesalers, people that are trying to learn this business. I know that Jerry Norton's going to buy this deal for me at 228. How do I know what I need to go make and bake in for myself to go back to the seller and negotiate to that price? Is there a number? Is it just how I feel? Is it as low as I can get the seller? What is the guideline on that, guys?
Well, for me, I'm going to absolutely be having a conversation with my buyer. Right, I'm going to be finding out from my buyer where specifically are you, and then I'm going to go and make sure that I've got at least a $5,000 or a $10,000 opportunity there. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and it depends on. Listen, fix and flippers are one exit strategy, right? Can you put up this, Jerry? Take a look at this, and I don't know if you've seen this, but this is kind of like the cash buyer ladder, is what I call it. If you can make it bigger, or somebody can, and that's ARV at the top there, right, Jerry? At the top, you've got like creative financing. People will buy stuff over ARV if the terms are right? So you can make some money there. Then you've got the hedge funds, you've got owner-occupied, you got value add, you've got Airbnb, rental portfolio, Burr, fix and flip down there at the bottom, which you're saying is right there basically at like around between 50 and 60%, and then you've got other wholesalers that would help you sell that deal. Now, I remember putting this together, Jerry, and then I remember crossing out most of these because they have disappeared with interest rates. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, this is a great chart, Brent. I love that because
put it up one more time.
What Pace just explained there was assuming that your end buyer is a rehabber.
Right.
But the number for you as a wholesaler would be completely different if you're selling to an owner occupy or you're a live-in flipper or a rental person, because they're not going to spend that kind of money. They're not looking so much at ARV maybe because it's a rental. So it does change. It goes back to what Jamil said. You got to understand your buyer. You got to know what your buyer's doing and who the ideal buyer is for your property.
That's exactly right. And the only way to know that is by actually talking to your buyers, guys. The time is over. I'm telling you, the teeter-totter is going to flip over where the sellers used to dictate everything. It's going to be the buyers. I'm telling you. And you got to listen to what Jerry's saying here, because Jerry is an actual cash buyer. All right. He's going to continue to buy. This is what he does. All right. The other people that were just kind of going in and trying to get their, hoping that appreciation is going to get them going, and they just wanted to buy up anything that was off market. Those days are over.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, really look at it and have a conversation with these cash buyers, and you're going to start getting better discounts because sellers are not going to be able to sell their properties to anybody else. They're not.
Here's a question.
The other people locking them up are going to cancel. It's going to drop through. They're going to be crestfallen and disappointed, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to just want to get rid of these properties. And that's how you get a 50%. You get this property at 200, you sell it at 228, you still make 28, and Jerry goes on and makes 50.
Okay, so here's a question, right? So Phil, who's newer, says, where the hell would you even find a $400,000 price house for $228,000? Well, this is what this show is all about: is finding off-market deals primarily.
Yeah.
Okay,
Brent,
also remember, Phil, this is not worth $400,000 in its current condition. Yeah. Right? We're making an estimate now. We're saying, if I force appreciation, where will this house get to? And we're thinking $400K, but with today's market, the interest rates and where things are going, we don't know. So is it really a $400,000 property? It's possible.
No. Yeah,
but
here would be my answer to Phil. If you make one offer a week, you won't get it. If you make 5 offers a day, 25 a week, 100 a month, you will get a deal like that at least 1 a month. With those spreads, you'll get it 1 a month because you're making 100 offers. I remember Brent when he came to my office and we did a video. He said, if you're in the game, which means you're actively making offers every day, the deal of a lifetime comes around once a week.
That's it. Yep. Dolph DeRue said that in an old book. Yeah. I'm telling you.
I'll never forget you said that to me, Brent. The deal of a lifetime comes once, but you got to be in the game. And in the game to me means you're sourcing, you're making offers, you're actively talking to sellers every single day. You do that, and that's where you get those great deals.
Peter says something really powerful. This is something Jamil talks about all the time. What we're doing here is actually giving a full priced offer based off the current condition.
Yes.
We get paid for improving those properties and adding value to them so that the property can be sold to a family. So do you think families, guys, for the most part, want to buy a house that needs to be done as a fixer-upper? No. 99% of them, the answer is no. The only people that want to do that are fix and flippers. So
if you don't know why someone would take 228 on a 400 ARV, then you really don't understand the psychology of a motivated seller. A motivated seller knows that that property does not have its full equity yet, and that there's a lot of work to get that $400,000 value. Like Jamil says all the time, wholesalers buy at about its current value. The equity is in the value add that somebody's going to do to it, which hasn't happened yet. It's future value. And
it's interesting.
Guys, the book is Real Estate Riches. Dolph DeRue said that, not me. Thank you, Jerry, for giving me credit for that. But
we should get Dolph DeRue on here, guys.
I don't know, 20 years old.
we should get Dolph DeRue on here. He's an amazing guest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He lives down the street. He's at the Biltmore.
Let's go roll up on Dolph and get him in here.
Jamil, why, you have this analogy talking about beef and how essentially a cow cannot be sold for what a Big Mac sells for, and there's a reason for that. Why is that?
Well, every industry has a wholesale infrastructure. It steps up in value as more value gets added to it. So the cow starts as the cow. The cow's got to get slaughtered. That beef then has to go to a butcher. That butcher then has to process it. That processing then has to package it. That packager then has to transport it. That transport it then has to distribute it. That distributor then has to redistribute it. That now retail customer has to buy it and prepare it. Guys, look at all the value that gets added from start to finish. This is why I get so angry when people say wholesalers are ripping people off, because the value's not there until an investment is made to realize it. Mm-hmm. We are doing nothing but selling potential here, guys.
That's it.
Amen.
That's it.
Hey, Jamil, that's the same model for iguanas too, by the way.
Are you talking about Iguana Wallet, the new Norton Iguana Wallet line that you're making right now?
I get $5 per iguana wholesale. That my buyer, the #1 retailer for exotic meats, sells a 10-pound iguana retail for $180.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. I get $5. He sells retail $180.
You get $5 for the body, and then somebody turns it into a wallet, and it's $100 and how much?
Well, that's just for the iguana, right? Yeah,
sells it as is.
Yeah, so that means, because why? There's shipping, there's processing, you got to clean it, you got to skin it, you got to make something out of it, and then he's got to resell.
Government taxes along the way. Every step of the way, the government's taxing every single step of the way.
Yeah, that's
Can you guys see what I see with Jerry Norton wearing an iguana vest? Could you guys see that happening?
Oh yeah. Do it with a kettlebell? Come on, player.
Oh my bro, please do that for the people, Jerry.
Do it for the people, Jerry.
Oh my gosh.
No, but Jamil's exactly right. When you wholesale means that it's at the bottom, and all this stuff has to happen before it gets to 400,000. There's so many hands in the cookie jar there, and that's why you buy it for 228.
Hey, we've got nearly 800 people watching live.
Wow.
I think we would be completely screwed up if we did not remind people that Jamil brokered a deal at the beginning of this live with Jerry and Brent to come out to Bigger Pockets Con.
That's right.
I'm going to be giving you guys the link right here in the side chat.
October 3rd and 4th, San Diego.
You're going to have Jerry Norton, Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji, myself talking about wholesaling creative finance deals for 3 hours at Bigger Pockets Con. The link is right there, web.cv. It's not like a affiliate link. I literally
No,
went.
we get nothing from this, guys. We're truly just sharing the link so you guys come and see the incredibleness that's going to happen at BPCon 2022.
Boom.
That's worth getting on a plane for.
Yeah,
well,
that's worth
and Jerry, it goes full circle in this. And you said, if you source your own deals as a flipper, not only do you, if you locked up that deal at 200, you're not just making that 50,000 profit. You're making that additional 28 on top of that. Maybe you work out a deal with the agent where you're not paying full 6%. Maybe you get this deal done faster. I mean, this thing could turn into a 6-figure deal if you're doing it yourself. I see a lot of people going from wholesaling and then getting into different strategies, the fix and flip strategy, the buy and hold strategy, or you assign it. I mean, those are the 3 different, but you got to start with sourcing the discounted properties first, and that's how you get the biggest deals, and that's how you build wealth fast.
And guys, don't sleep on the renegotiations. Look at what Denise just said. Can you pull up her comment? She said she just got a $50,000 retrade on a property, and that would not have happened months ago.
Well, we talked about this at the beginning. We talked about how a lot of fix and flippers and homeowners have been hyper aggressive leading up to this, ramping up to this, that some of the price reductions are not necessarily that the houses are now losing their value. It's now that the market has lost its momentum.
Yeah.
Right. That buyers would have reached up way over ARV and bought those houses because there was no inventory. Money was super cheap. And so they can justify overpaying for stuff. Now that's gone. It's not that houses are worth less. It's that people are paying what they're supposed to be worth.
It's really Pace. It's the fundamentals. Like if you've gotten into real estate post-COVID, like if you're new since post-COVID, you've been operating a business model that is not real. It's unlike anything that's ever happened. And you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you think that that's normal. That was not normal. We're going to be going back to normal fundamentals where you better be buying right. You better be understanding your formula, understanding your neighborhoods, understanding days on market. This like crazy over asking price, 30 offers and on the first day crap. That's all going away. That's not normal. That's not normal real estate. So everyone better be learning normal real estate if you want to succeed in next year and forward. We've got a good 7 to 10 minutes here. I want to address something really interesting. This is a really big common misconception here. Jimmy says you cannot have ownership of something if you're just paying money to the bank. How about, anyway, this is interesting. I saw this on a big influencer's post the other day saying, I'd rather just pay cash for stuff rather than go out and get debt because debt means that you don't own the property. You're a slave to that debt. That could not be further from the truth. Think about groceries. Okay, think about groceries. Anybody who goes and buys groceries with an American Express or a Capital One card or anything, does that mean that American Express owns my groceries? Absolutely not. The ownership is who owns the receipt of those groceries. And in real estate, the receipt is called the deed. So when I own the deed, I am the owner. I just borrowed somebody else's money to go buy it. This happens in every business. Somebody asked me the other day, it was actually in Jamil's, a meetup that Jamil is doing. And they go, but I have a car loan on my car. That means I don't own my car. I go, no, you're the owner of the car. You can refinance it. You can sell it. You can change the paint color. You can fart in it. Do whatever you want with that car without anybody's permission. You are the owner. So when it goes up in value, you gain the value, not the bank. So if I don't own something, but I go and sell it, then why is it that all the equity I built doesn't go to the bank? It actually goes to me. Jimmy, 1,000% that is incorrect. 1,000%. You can own anything even though you still owe a debt. Okay? Please understand that. Jamil, please speak on affordable housing. How can we achieve this?
Make more money.
Make more money. I like that.
What do you
Guys,
mean? What do you mean?
Here's the deal. Okay, affordable housing is a thing of the past, in my opinion. I truly believe that. We have so many institutions owning so much of American real estate still at the table. Still at the table. We have rents skyrocketing, inflation skyrocketing. You have affordability going to nowhere, right? It's not moving. We are seeing slight price decreases, but Crystal, my friend, I promise you it's not going to get to a point where you're going to walk in and say, oh, finally affordable. It's not going to happen that way. What you have to do is figure out how to earn more so that you can actually afford the houses that are going to be available in the coming years. That's just what's happening.
Maybe she's talking from a society standpoint.
From a societal standpoint, I mean, this is a fundamental issue of the fact that we don't have wages rise with the rest of the cost of living across the country. Mm-hmm. And until that situation gets solved, which I don't think we can because politically we're just way too divided. And also, there's people who have very legitimate points on both sides of the street.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think regarding that, Jamil, I think if you're not working a side hustle and doing your own business and really trying to develop that, you are in a world of hurt because inflation isn't 8%. Maybe in some things, but in food, it's 100%. In cars, it's 50%. And a lot of things, inflation is way higher, which means if you're not increasing your earning at a very high capacity right now, you are just falling behind rapidly in your life, in lifestyle, and standard of living.
And it's going to get worse, guys. It's going to look everywhere else in the world. Here's the thing. If you want to see what America's going to look like in 10 years, look everywhere but America.
Yeah.
Look everywhere but America. And you will see exactly what happens. The people in the lowest economic brackets don't live the way that the people in the lowest economic brackets live in America today. They don't. Mm-hmm. In fact, the people in the lowest economic brackets in America right now live like the richest in some of the developing nations that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
I do have maybe a political stance to talk about, but I do appreciate what you guys talked about on the affordability crisis. Aaron Leitz kind of leads into this. Also, Aaron Leitz paid $70 in YouTube income to us today. So thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. We're going to buy a Jerry Iguana vest for $70. The best way to get a raise is to quit your job and find a better paying gig or gigs. I agree with this entirely. And when people say, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, I always look at, well, what value do you bring to the marketplace? My employees or my team members that are so valuable, they don't need to demand a raise. They are indispensable because they are constantly improving themselves and their actions demand to be paid more. Now, I'm not a big Fortune 500 company, so I'm a lot more in connection with my employees. But I can tell you, most people that are complaining about their lack of raises have not done anything to improve their skills and brought indispensable value to their company. Do we disagree with this?
Nope.
Most people won't, but except a couple of people. The other thing to fix the affordability crisis is to build affordable housing, which is what we're talking about here. Go buy cheap dirt. Go find people like Jerry Norton or other people that are building and go build affordable housing. This month, I bought a 43 unit in San Angelo, Texas. I'm buying a 30 unit in Corpus Christi, and Jamil and I are in the process of buying a 53 unit. Guys, affordable housing is out there. Okay, go invest in it. Go find it. Go build it. Go create value in the marketplace, and you won't ever have to ask for another raise ever again.
Love it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you get paid in direct proportion to the value you add or the problems you solve. So if you want to get paid more, add more value or solve more problems. That's it. Totally.
Guys, Aaron has given us over $100, and some of you haven't even hit the like button yet.
Hit that like button. Also,
Aaron,
guys,
thank you, bro.
Also, guys, remember Wholesale Hotline podcast. Check it out. Spotify, Apple, what? It's popping. It is going off. Make sure you check it out. It is
Leave us a review.
Original content. It's not just this show and we chop it up type of thing. We have new podcasts coming out every single day. Check it out. What do you got going on this week?
Gosh, what don't I have going
anywhere?
on this? No, I've got Pace and
YouTube,
I've
what do you
got a
got?
lot of we've got a lot of filming for the TV show right now. We're in the tail end of season 2.
Awesome.
So we've got a lot of that going on. I have my daughter in town. I just went and picked her up yesterday from Canada, so I'm going to enjoy a couple of days with my little girl. We've got a lot of things going on with the astro flipping and sub 2 communities. Tomorrow I have Layla Hermosi on one of my astro flipping calls.
Awesome.
It's going to be an incredible opportunity to just pick her brain. I actually got to meet Layla and Alex through Pace at the Clever Summit and became great friends with them. Layla's going to be talking to us about the way that she approaches life and business, and that is one incredible woman. So that's happening this week, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Join me Wednesday, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for the Ugly Houses Big Checks live show, answering your questions for 2 hours straight from 10 to noon Pacific Standard Time on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel. Jerry, what you got going on?
Well, I'll show you. I've got a lot of trees I cut down.
I saw that. You were like chainsawing and everything, bro.
Yeah. And so I got to split some wood.
Whoa.
All right.
Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water.
No, I got to not work very much while I'm in the States because I can't.
Well, we've been enjoying your YouTube channel. You did a bunch of stuff. I think you just released a video you did with Chris Crone either today or yesterday.
Hey, yeah.
Personally, I think that you, and I tell you this all the time. Last time we had a good phone call, I'm just like, bro, you're the model. I want to follow everything you're doing. We love you so much. The show loves you so much. You're one of our favorite guests and a dear friend to all three of us.
Well, I wish I was half as cool as you thought I was, Pace.
Oh, you're twice as cool as I think you are, bro. I guarantee it.
Pace, what you got going on, brother?
I've got a very unique live I'm doing on Friday. For those of you who know Dean Graziosi, I did a podcast
Amazing.
with him, and unfortunately, the recording got deleted.
What?
I know, it's a long story.
Oh,
A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with Dean Graziosi, the recording got deleted. Spent a lot of time and energy getting into that position in my life, and unfortunately, somebody made a mistake. It got deleted. No big deal, whatever. I text Dean, and I go, hey, man, would you mind doing a live? And then that way I can just stream it and forget about the editing, forget about whatever. And he said, I would love to. I only have 40 minutes, so on Friday for 40 minutes, Dean is going to talk about if there is an economic downturn, what he did in 2007, 8, 9, and 10 to actually triple his business. And it's along what Jerry said earlier. It was double down. But I'm not one of these guys that just talks about the fluff and stuff. I want to know the tactical, tangible things that I can do. And so that's what we're going to be doing on Friday. That is happening Friday, 4 p.m. Arizona time. The link is in the side chat. So I'd love to have you guys come in and see Dean Graziosi talk about the upcoming economic shift and what to do. He's only gonna be there for 40 minutes, but it's going to be a Q&A. It'll be really, really good.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Jerry, once again, brother, we love you. We appreciate you coming in here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. You guys are the best. Appreciate you.
All right, guys, we will see you next week on Wholesale freaking Hotline.
Peace.
Love you.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.